So I thought we'd do a case study on this Transit. It turned up this morning, dragged in on a bar. The story goes, he jump started it at his house. So the battery was flat, jump started it, drove it from there to his mate's garage to have the windows looked at because they're not working. When he got there, he says he turned it off and it wouldn't restart after that. But now you got a question, did his mate look at the windows first and then they couldn't start it, so they disturbed something? Or did he pull up there, went to start it, never looked at the windows, not sure. But the ignition's not turning on. He's taken it to Ford's. They've said it needs a new ignition switch. He's bought a genuine ignition switch. That's not cured it. He's put a key reader on it. He's got spare keys. Tried a few different things. So now it's been brought down to us. So let's show you what we've got going on before we do too much investigation. So as you can see, we've got flashing immobiliser light. We've got side lights. So we know we've got power and stuff to the car. Turn it on. No ignition switch. So these casings are already off. So we're going to find out what we're meant to have at the ignition switch. Go from there. So we've gone to the heater fan wiring diagram because that should show everything: ignition on, ignition off, ignition relays, etc. So where we're going to start is this ignition switch. We're meant to have a power in on pin 4. Yeah, it looks like pin 4. Yeah, it says pin 4. So a grey and red is meant to be power in, and then when you turn the ignition off, power out, and that starts powering up your junction box electrics. That tells it that it's had your ignition on. So yeah, so when you turn that ignition on, power should go down through this wire, up, along, and flick on the ignition relay. So let's start at a nice central point, see what we've got going on. Right, so we've gone to pin 4, grey and red, and we've got nothing on it. It's completely dead. So got readings on all the others. So what we're going to do, just confirm. So we've lost power to the grey and red. So just quickly, without going too far into it, we're going to put power to that. This is protected, so we're going to put power to it. So power on. So I'll put power to the grey and red, and now let's see. There we go. So still got other things going on because something's not quite right, but it proves that we are meant to have power on that one. So let's try and work out where that comes from. So we know from the ignition switch out, seems to be okay. Let's find out why we've lost power to that. Right, so this is the wire which we've lost power on, grey and red. If we put power there, everything past it seems to be okay. So we know we lost that, and that is meant to be ignition switch supply, fuse 77 in the central junction box. That's under the glove box. Let's just make sure it's not switched at all. Now it comes straight from the battery through the battery fuse box straight to there. So that is a permanent live. Right, let's go and check what we've got here. See what we've got going on. So we found this is fuse 77, and it is completely dead. Let's turn the ignition on quickly and see if that changes it. So we've turned the ignition back on. Aha. So now it's got an earth reading, which means it's making a circuit to whatever it needs to power up. And if I put power to that, yeah, sure enough, it all comes on. So we've lost power to this fuse. So we're getting earth either side of the fuse. So now we need to find out where that power comes from. So the main live to this fuse comes in on this plug. Comes from the underbonnet, comes from battery junction box, which is the one under the seat by the battery. But instead of stripping all that side of it out, we're going to try and find this connector, make sure we got it right. So it's got a white and red and a yellow and red. Let's have a look what the connector is. So it does a hyperlink thing. It'll actually show us what the connector view is. Right, so it's a 2-pin plug. There's only going to be one of them in that unit. So quite often it is a big multiple one, so you can find out what size or what colour it is, etc. But that is only a 2-pin plug. Let's quickly go back to that. So we know from there is good, both sides of the fuse, so we've lost power to that. Let's find out. So we're looking for yellow and red, and it's also got white and red on it as well. So as we can see, we've got this main plug coming in, yellow and red, white and red. We've got power on this one, and we've got power on that one. So all that does is goes literally from there down to there, and we haven't got power there, but it's definitely not the fuse what's blown. Right, let's pull that fuse out and see if we can test directly on the pins behind. Well, look at that. Look how bent that is. You see that? I bet they ain't making contact. Right, let's go direct onto the terminals into there. That's got power. And we've got the earth. Right, let's get a fuse quickly. An unbent, in fact, to prove that this fuse is okay, which we done by, let's straighten it. So we haven't even got to put a new fuse in it to prove that it wasn't a blown fuse. I'm going to use the original one. That's a bit better. Aha, I heard it click on. Right, hold on, let's have a look. Oh, well, the radio's on. Is the dash on? Yes. So I would say as simple as that, but he's saying he drove that down to the other garage. So good chance that while they were testing for that, for the window fault, they've taken that fuse out, bent it while it went back in, wasn't making a good contact. So let's go and see if she starts. Well, as far as we know, that's the only fault. Right, ignition on. No crank. Ugh. I hate going to these type of cars where he said, I've had the keys done. I've had it before where people try and program keys in when it's all dead and it wipes things out. You know, the immobiliser might still be live, but the engine ECU wouldn't be, etc. Both keys and the immobiliser lights flashing. Couldn't be as simple as that, could it? Right, let's get it plugged in. So scan tools don't fix cars. I've said this quite a few times, but so the scan tool hasn't helped us on this. I didn't even look at it. I knew where it was going from, but now we need to see why. Has it lost its key programming? Has it blown something else? I don't know. I hate it. Ugh. If it would have come down to us, it would have been so much simpler. But let's have a look at it, see what we got. So we've got the Autel plugged in. So we use Autel and ThinkCar. Both of them are supplied by Impact Diagnostics. Go and check out our video. That was quite an interesting place. So lost communication with engine ECU. Got one for ABS, but we can talk to ABS now. So these are the old faults. Let's give it a quick clear and see what it comes up with. And there you go. So just a door ajar switch. It's nothing to worry about. So we're not talking to engine ECU. And funny enough, when you go back in, I've known this before anyway, we talk to ABS, instrument, body control, and the airbag. Can't talk to engine ECU. So right now we've got to start on that side of it. So let's get a diagram up for the engine ECU. Funny enough, normally when you turn an engine on, you can hear, or turn the ignition on, you can normally hear the engine buzz up and, you know, move something, just a bit of a hum. The earlier ones don't so much, but this one's got EGR valves and stuff. You'd hear something. There's absolutely nothing. Right, so let's go and get a diagram up for this, the engine ECU, see what we've got going on, check the fuses, etc. So before we do that, if you are liking these case studies, maybe get a little thumbs up, you know, drop a comment down below, let us know what you're thinking of them and, you know, what you'd like to see in the future. And if you've not subscribed yet, maybe consider doing it before you leave. Let's get a diagram up on the screen and we'll see what we're doing with the engine. Right, so we assume that somebody's been tinkering with it because he said that he'd driven it to that garage and it stopped. So first thing we're going to go to is engine control relay, see what's going on there, have we got, has it got switch live? Oh no, it's got main live in. So yeah, permanent live to it. The engine ECU turns that on. And then when it's turned on, it powers up fuse 25, which goes across and powers up other bits and pieces. I assume we're going to have, so yeah, we're going to, well, first we're going to start on the ignition control relay. That's when the ignition turns on, that relay should turn on. It should put power. Oh, where does the power come from? So it comes out of the relay, down, through, and then up, and it powers up pin fuse 37. That's going to tell the engine to power up. Once the engine's told to power up, it controls the engine control relay, which then turns on and then puts power out of fuse 22. Comes from this fuse into the relay, out the relay, and then powers up fuse 29, 26, 28. So right, let's start. See when the ignition's on, have we got power on fuse 37. So pulled out a diagram of the what's it? So we know this one's the engine control relay. So we're going to go to fuse 37 first, see if the ignition live is coming on, and we'll go from there. So we pulled out the fuse box layout. We know which pin is which fuse is number 37. This engine control relay. But before we've even started, have a look at this. Fuse 37 has already been changed. These are all original Ford fuses. That's a cheap Halfords type fuse. So what are we thinking? Could be wrong. Happens to the best of us. So ignition's on. Fuse 37. Got power. And it's dead. So you've got live both sides. It's normally good. If you've got live, so you've got earth both sides, normally good. But if you've got live on one side, nothing on the other, definitely dead. So let's get that swapped out, see what happens. Haha! So I don't know if you can hear that. Hold on, let's get the mic. So that's powered the engine up. Obviously a bit of a boring thought really, but you know, they can't all be interesting. But now let's see if the immobiliser light's gone out on it. This immobiliser light was flashing its head off when we turned the ignition on. You're going to go out. Right, it's gone out. We've got the mileage back. Ah, easy peasy. So obviously we don't know why that fuse is blown, but it has been changed. So two little faults. One, the fuse was bent and pushed in the hole incorrectly. That's going to be man-made. Why that fuse is blown? But again, he drove it to the garage. So when you take the places, they probe stuff up, all that sort of stuff. You know, you never know the full story. So now we can get on to the original fault. I assume they're not going to work. Which he went to the garage for, was the electric windows. So, but this was booked in today for non-start. So I've got to get on with all the rest of the work, what's coming in. We've got some more coming in tomorrow. So this one's going to have to go out. Once we've finished up the other jobs, we can get it back in and do the window faults. I'll add it into this video, but yeah, you can't have customers coming in, booking in for one fault, and then saying, oh, once you've done that, can you do that? So we've got customers waiting for a couple of weeks for our appointments. So this will get squeezed in now. We've done the job he's asked us to do. Let's get it out. Job's carrot. Right, so we're going to have a look at this window fault. So I've got up a diagram, basic as you like. Literally one fuse, down to the switches, two motors, two switches. Basic as I like. So let's start in the middle, start this fuse, see what we got here. You know, if this one's got power down to it, we know we need to go down to the doors, or we lost an earth or something like that. Fuse what feeds the switches. We've got a control relay, which is ignition relay 2. Ignition relay 2. that is fed by another fuse in that fuse box, 60 amp number 62, and then that one is fed from 100 amp one in the underbody fuse box, I would assume. Well, that might be the battery fuse box, but let's start there, see what we got, and then we'll know which way we got to go. Simples. This is the 20 amp. We want to, no, that one. This one, 20 amp. It looks okay. So, just pull it out. Ignition's on. We should have live to one side and earth to the other. So, we have no live to either side of that, and ignition is on. Just double check. Yep. So now we know we're losing live 2 there. Now we need to work out where that's gone from. Right, so we know this one's okay. So now let's just find out where these two are. 62 and ignition control 2, is that? Yeah, relay 2. Let's go to this one here. Right, 62, ignition main relay circuit, so it's this end one. And which one is the, so that's ignition main relay 1, we know that's okay because ignition turns on. What's that one? Right, so there we go. This fuse supplies this relay. When that relay turns on, it supplies 56 for the windows. So we know we've lost it there, so we've got to check here, then check there, see what's going on. So this is supply fuse. Now, is it lost a supply from the battery, or is it not giving it out? Supply's okay. It's dead out. Let's just double check the fuse is okay. Yep, so the fuse has got continuity. So let's go and check on the diagram which relay it is. So we've got power here. Let's go and pull this relay out, see what we've got going in. So we've got 4 points to test. Normally I would start at that. I don't really know why I didn't. So as long as we've got power in, we'll have an earth for the control relay. So for the control side, we're going to have permanent earth and a switch live, comes straight from ignition switch. And then, yeah, main live in and then out to this fuse. Let's see what we've got on that one. So this is a control relay. Let's see. So these small pins either side, there you control. You're going to have an earth and a live, and then these ones are going to be live in, live out. So from the supply fuse and then over to the output fuse to the 20 amp goes to the windows. So what do we got? Right, so we've got power, and let's confirm it. Let's pull that fuse out, 60 amp. Right, so that is the main fuse in. This one, that's control to the windows. So now what have we lost on this side? So we've got the earth to the control. We've either lost the live up to here, or the relay is not working. So, so we've got everything we need on that. So we'd normally load test that, but let's just check the relay quickly, see what it's doing. So this is the relay out there with the control side of it. So this is earth, this is live. That powers up a coil in here, and then it throws a switch over which connects these two together. So low ampage to switch high ampage wires. So let's see what we got. So put an earth on that side, and it's dead. No circuit through it, no clicking. In fact, there's one beside it. Let's pull it out and show you how it should work, or should sound. So I'm going to do exactly the same. Earth on the bottom one. Should have continuity, which we have. Let's turn the sound off. You can hear that? Oh. So that is throwing the contact over. Let's go back to this one. Nothing. So that relay is a dead. So let's see if we got one. Change it over, see what we got. Right, we got same sort of relay. That's high ampage one. Let's put that in, see what we got. So we've fitted the relay in there. Let's see. Whoa! He's a genius. Both sides. So there we go. Simples as that. Got a couple of cases put back on there, but apart from that, we're all good. So, quick recap. What do we have? Come in broken down. Drove to the garage. We drove to a garage to have the windows checked. It broke down. We found a fuse been put in bent that had stopped the ignition turning on. A fuse blown for the engine control side of it. Why that's happened, I don't know. But it's probably just been man-made. You know, somebody's been testing it and power probing stuff up, etc. So we've got it all running. Then we looked at the window fault. So checked one fuse out, one fuse in. Gone back to the control relay. Control relay was dead. So yeah, fairly basic fault really. Yeah, so it weren't more interesting, but you know, they are just basic circuits what you can run through from one point to the next point to the next point, find your fault. So if you like what you see, like I say, just give it a little down below, and we'll see you on the next one.